When I first started Alibaba, I had nothing, no money, no connections, no fancy education in Silicon Valley. But I had one thing, my word. I told my small team, we're going to build something big. I didn't have all the answers. I didn't even have a clear path. But I had conviction, I had belief, and more importantly, I knew that if I said something, I would work day and night to make it real. Your word is your first and most powerful investment. Before people invest in your idea, they invest in your character. Think about this. If someone borrows money from you and promises to return it in a week, but you lose trust. Now, what happens when someone borrows your trust and never returns it? The damage is even worse. That's what happens when your words and your actions don't align. Every broken promise becomes a debt unpaid. And people, whether customers, friends, or colleagues, don't forget that debt easily. You may not see the damage at first. You may think, it's okay, I'll do it later. Or they'll understand, but no, they won't. Because you trained them to doubt you. You trained them to second guess your integrity. Every time you say one thing and do another, you're lowering your credibility like water dripping slowly and silently through a cracked pipe. Eventually, the floor caves in and you're left standing in ruins, wondering why people stopped believing in you. Words are easy. They don't cost money to speak. But they cost everything when they're broken. In business, one broken word can cost a contract. In leadership, one broken promise can cost loyalty. In relationships, one broken commitment can cost a heart. People remember how you made them feel. If your words make them feel safe and your actions betray them, it's only a matter of time before they walk away. I have met thousands of young entrepreneurs who have big dreams. They pitch like stars, speak with confidence, and promise the world. But I always tell them, don't impress me with your words. Impress me with your consistency. I don't want to hear how passionate you are. I want to see how persistent you are when things get tough. Words don't build empires. Actions do. Let me share something personal. There were days in the early years when I wanted to give up. I told my team we would succeed, but deep inside I had doubts, and yet every morning I stood up, smiled, and worked as if success was guaranteed. Why? Because I gave them my word, and when you give your word, you owe it to the people who believe in you, even when you're exhausted, even when you're scared. Your word is like a contract, but unlike paper contracts, this one is signed in the hearts and minds of those who trust you. It's not written in ink, it's written in memory. And the penalty for breaking it isn't a lawsuit. It's losing your reputation. And once you lose that, getting it back is like climbing a mountain with no legs. Hard, painful, sometimes impossible. People often ask, how do I build influence? The answer is simple: say what you mean and do what you say. Influence doesn't come from a big following. It comes from people knowing that when you speak, you mean business, that your yes means yes, and your no means no, that they can count on you not just in easy times, but especially when everything is falling apart. There is no wealth more valuable than a respected name. Not your money, not your job title, not your resume. If your name carries weight, you can open doors others can't. But if your name becomes a joke, if people roll their eyes when you speak, you've already lost the game. That's why I say protect your name, Guard your word. They are your greatest assets. We live in a world full of noise. Social media is full of people saying things they don't mean. Promises fly around like confetti. But look deeper and you'll see the truth. The real winners are the ones who speak less and do more. They don't waste, they build quietly, consistently, without needing to explain themselves, because their work speaks loud enough. I've learned that silence paired with action earns more respect than loud declarations without delivery. A man or woman who speaks carefully and delivers fully is far more trusted than someone who promises everything and delivers nothing. Discipline your tongue, only say what you intend to do. And when you say it, don't rest until it's done. Sometimes you won't get things right, you will fall short, you will fail. That's okay. Failure doesn't kill your credibility. Lying does. If you make a mistake, own it. Say, I was wrong and I will fix it. People respect accountability. But when you hide behind excuses or change your story, you lose the very foundation that success stands on: trust. In business, timing matters, but integrity matters more. You may be late with a delivery, but if your client knows you're honest, they'll wait. You may miss a deadline, but if your team knows you gave it everything, they'll understand. Because the truth is, people don't expect perfection. They expect honesty, effort, and alignment between what you say and what you do. I've seen leaders who are brilliant, but can't lead a team. Why? Because they say one thing and do another. They demand excellence, but show laziness. They promise transparency, but operate in secrecy. And eventually, their team stops listening. Not because the leader is incompetent, but because the leader is inconsistent. Leadership is not a title. It's a responsibility to be trustworthy. Let me tell you something that changed the way I live. Every time you speak, you make a deposit or a withdrawal in someone's trust account. If you keep your promises, their trust in you grows. If you break them, it shrinks. And when the balance hits zero, so does your influence. This is not philosophy. This is real life, and I've seen it happen too many times. We live in a time where people care more about how they look than how they behave. But image fades. Reputation remains. Flashy suits and big speeches won't help you if your track record is filled with broken promises. You may fool some people for a while, but eventually your real character shows. And the world always remembers the truth. I remember hiring someone years ago because he spoke so well. He convinced everyone he was the best fit. But after just 3 months, I realized he never followed through. Meetings missed, deadlines ignored, excuses every week. He had talent, but no integrity. And that's when I learned I'd rather hire someone quiet but reliable than someone loud but hollow. Your character is revealed not when you're being watched, but when you're not. Do you deliver on promises when no one is checking? Do you finish what you start when the spotlight fades? That's when your word truly matters. If your standard depends on attention, your value is temporary. But if your standard depends on your principles, your value will last forever. Success isn't built in public, it's built in private. It's built in late nights, small decisions, kept promises, and silent discipline. And the people who rise highest are not those who shout the loudest. They are those whose words are few, but whose follow through is fierce. Make it your mission not just to talk well, but to deliver consistently. Trust me, you don't need to say, trust me. Just be trustworthy. You don't need to say, I'll do it. Just do it. The world is tired of empty talkers. It's starving for real doers. If you can be one of the few who finishes what they start, keeps their word, and holds themselves accountable, you will win in ways most people never will.